Thanks for joining us here at 41NBC.com. I'm Melissa Lee. The Department of Defense has reduced the number of furlough days civilian employees may have to take because of budget cuts. Instead of 22 days, workers will only have to take 14 unpaid days off. Now, officials at Robins Air Force Base expect the furlough days to start in mid-June and run through the end of September. Workers will find out a month in advance before they have to take the time off. A contractor at Robins Air Force Base announced it's closing shop, leaving roughly 300 people out of work. DynCorp International is leaving Warner Robins due to lack of funding. The U.S. Air Force decided not to renew the company's contract. For the past year, the group has been providing maintenance support on aircraft at the base. The Georgia Department of Labor is on standby to help any of those displaced workers. And a new multi-million-dollar law enforcement center in Warner Robins is almost complete. City officials went on a final walkthrough Thursday, touring the building one last time before its grand opening. The center will house all of law enforcement offices, public records, and forensic labs. Mayor Chuck Shaheen expects to open the doors to the public as early as April. And the Houston County District Attorney announced he will not file charges against the officers involved in the shooting death of a Warner Robins man earlier this month. In a statement, DA George Hartwig called the shooting of Anthony Rawls, quote, justified. On March 10th, several Warner Robins police officers were dispatched to a home on Huntwood Lane in reference to a domestic dispute. When they arrived, the feud turned fatal and officers used deadly force. Michelle Rawls called 911 saying her husband Anthony Rawls was threatening to kill her. In Hartwig's letter to Warner Robins Police Chief Brett Evans, he writes, he raised the gun in a threatening manner toward his wife. She actually grabbed his arm to keep from being shot. Rawls fired a total of 8 rounds at or in the immediate vicinity of his wife and several Warner Robins police officers. He goes on to say that Rawls posed, quote, an immediate threat of physical violence to the officers or others. I believe the shooting death of Anthony George Rawls was justified. The GBI is still in its final stages of this report. And lawmakers in Atlanta discussed whether college students in Georgia should be able to carry guns on campus, but that plan failed late Thursday evening. The House and the Senate went into the day with opposing versions of an overhaul plan, but did not reach an agreement. And just 5% of boys who enter the Boy Scouts program reach Eagle Scout status. 2 Cochran teenagers are now the newest members of that elite fraternity. Jacob Eccles and Ross Thompson were honored at a ceremony Thursday night. Ross has accepted a 2-year full-time mission in Idaho. Jacob is still in high school but will be leaving for a full-time mission after he graduates in May. Congratulations to you both. And 17 years ago, a Macon man was part of a program called Adopt a Role Model. Now he's using that experience to give back to the community. Alvoid Gates is a coach with the Middle Georgia Youth Community League, and this week is spring break for Bibb County students, so he's hosting a free football camp for kids who might not be able to play otherwise. Gates invites you to come on out to Linmore Estates Park Friday and Saturday. The camp starts at 4:30 each day. Those are your headlines. Be sure to join us on air tonight for the news at 6 and 11. Have a great Easter, everybody.